pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Here.
Mr. Franco.
I am here.
And Mr. Cabrera.
I am here in compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, Public Law 1975. The notice requirements have been satisfied as to the time, place, and date of holding said meeting. And this is a change in meeting and posting notice on the bulletin board and by emailing the same on the Herald of Cape May County on March 4th, 2024. In the event of an emergency, your emergency exit is your back door, our front left, your back right, or our front right, your front left, just by the American flag. This meeting is being shown live. Brian, we got a sound check. Are we good to go in the back? All right, sound check on the borough's YouTube and the Facebook channel. If you have a public comment that you would like to make and you would like to dial in on the conference line just up here on the dais, that number is 888-363-4734. And when prompted, you're going to enter the access code 9699020, followed by the pound or the hashtag. If you're watching the recorded version of this meeting and you have a question or a comment you would like to make, you're more than welcome to email our clerk at clerk@wildwoodcrest.org, or you may phone her at 609-729-8040. Madam Clerk, I believe we have ordinances
Yes,
on
sir.
the agenda. 4.
The first is ordinance number 1427.
Motion that ordinance number 1427 be placed on second reading and final passage by title only.
Second it?
It's been moved and seconded that ordinance number 1427 be placed on second and final reading by title only.
Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Ordinance 1427 reads as follows. An ordinance amending and supplementing Chapter 63, sidewalks, curbs, and alleyways of the Code of the Borough of Wildwood Crest.
Motion that a public hearing now be held on ordinance number 1427.
Second it?
It's been moved and seconded that a public hearing on ordinance number 1427 now be held.
Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes. Floor is open. Public comment on ordinance number 1427. Anybody here in the audience? Anybody on the conference line? Hearing none?
Motion that a public hearing on ordinance number 1427 now be closed.
Second it?
It has been moved and seconded that the public hearing on ordinance number 1427 now be closed.
Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Motion that ordinance number 1427 be passed on second and final reading and advertised according to law.
Second it?
It has been moved and seconded that the ordinance number 1427 be passed on second and final reading and advertised according to law.
Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Next, we have ordinance 1428.
Motion that ordinance 1428 be placed on second reading and final passage by title only.
Second it?
It's been moved and seconded that ordinance number 1428 be placed on second and final reading by title only.
Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Ordinance 1428 reads as follows. An ordinance repealing and replacing Chapter 67, street excavations of the Code of the Borough of Wildwood Crest, with a new Chapter 67 entitled Street Openings and Excavations.
Motion that a public hearing now be held on ordinance number 1428.
I'll second it.
It has been moved and seconded that a public hearing on ordinance number 1428 now be held.
Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes. Floor is open for public comment on ordinance number 1428. Anybody on the conference line? Public comment on ordinance number 1428. Hearing none?
Motion that a public hearing on ordinance number 1428 now be closed.
And I'll second it.
Been moved and seconded that the public hearing on ordinance number 1428 now be closed.
Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Motion that ordinance number 1428 be passed on second and final reading and advertised according to law.
Second it?
It has been moved and seconded that ordinance number 1428 be passed on second and final reading and advertised according to law.
Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Next, we have ordinance 1429, and it reads as follows. An ordinance of the Borough of Wildwood Crest, amending and supplementing Chapter 36, entitled Floodplain Management Regulations of the Code of the Borough of Wildwood Crest, amending fees for floodplain development permits.
Motion that ordinance number 1429 be passed on first reading, advertised according to law, to be brought up for second and final reading and public hearing on April 24th, 2024 at 5 p.m.
Second it?
It has been moved and seconded that ordinance number 1429 be passed on first reading, advertised according to law, be brought up for second and final reading and public hearing on April 24th, 2024 at 5 p.m.
Roll call, Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Next, we have ordinance 1430, and it reads as follows. A bond ordinance appropriating $8 million and authorizing the issuance of $7,558,070 bonds or notes of the borough for various improvements or purposes authorized to be undertaken by the Borough of Wildwood Crest in the County of Cape May, New Jersey.
Motion that ordinance number 1430 be passed on first reading, advertised according to law, to be brought up for second and final reading and public hearing on April 24th, 2024 at 5 p.m.
Second it?
It has been moved and seconded that ordinance number 1430 be passed on first reading, advertised according to law, be brought up for second and final reading and public hearing on April 24th, 2024 at 5 p.m.
Roll call, Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Next, we have the resolutions. The first is authorizing the subrecipient agreement between the New Jersey Department of Community Affairs and the Borough of Wildwood Crest for the implementation of the Boardwalk Preservation Fund Grant Program.
Motion?
I will second.
It's been moved and seconded that the foregoing resolution be adopted. Roll call, Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Next is authorizing award of professional services contract to Colliers Engineering and Design for services in conjunction with preliminary traffic and pedestrian evaluation, various streets and locations, tasks 2, 3, and 4, at the not to exceed sum of $10,000.
Motion?
I will second.
It's been moved and seconded that the foregoing resolution be adopted. Roll call, Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Next is authorizing award of professional services contract with Scott Taylor or Taylor Design Group, Inc. for professional planning, design, and construction phase services for New Jersey Avenue streetscape at the not-to-exceed sum of $68,350.
Motion?
I will second.
It's been moved and seconded that the foregoing resolution be adopted. Roll call, Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes, I just want to make a point of order. This is funded by the UEZ on number 3, right? It's a UEZ, okay. Just want to make sure everyone
It was
understood.
2023 easy money.
Gotcha.
Next is authorizing refund of property taxes or utilities overpayment made payable to Seaboard Title Agency.
Motion?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that the foregoing resolution be adopted. Roll call, Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
The next three by consent. The first is authorizing amendment to the 2024 municipal budget to account for additional funding from the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection for the recycling tonnage grant. The second is from the Cape May County Division of Culture and Heritage Regrant Program. And the third is the New Jersey Division of Highway Traffic Safety for the Distracted Driving Enforcement Mobilization Grant.
I'll motion by consensus.
I will second.
It's been moved and seconded that the foregoing resolutions be adopted. Roll call, Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Next is amending established salaries for 2024 stipend agreements.
Motion?
I will second.
It's been moved and seconded that the foregoing resolution be adopted. Roll call, Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Next is authorizing award of contract for the 2024 road resurfacing program.
I'll motion.
I will second.
It's been moved and seconded that the foregoing resolution be adopted. Roll call, Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Next is authorizing Borough Engineer work order for fiscal year 2023 NJDOT Municipal Aid Reconstruction of Orchid Road, additional services, resurfacing of Wisteria Road at the not-to-exceed sum of $3,000.
Motion?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that the foregoing resolution be adopted. Roll call, Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Next is authorizing approval of change order number 2, fiscal year 2023, NJDOT Municipal Aid Reconstruction of Orchid Road, additional services, resurfacing of Wisteria Road, at the not-to-exceed sum of $68,465.
Motion?
I will second.
It's been moved and seconded that the foregoing resolution be adopted. Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Next is authorizing a shared services agreement with the City of North Wildwood for uniform construction code inspections in instances of conflicts of interest.
I'll motion.
I will second.
It's been moved and seconded that the foregoing resolution be adopted. Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Next is amending the 2024 capital budget.
Motion?
I will second.
It's been moved and seconded that the foregoing resolution be adopted. Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Next is authorizing award of an EUS contract with Robindale Media for marketing plan specialist at the not to exceed sum of $19,500 for calendar year 2024.
Motion?
I will second.
It's been moved and seconded that the foregoing resolution be adopted. Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Lastly is authorizing sale of real property owned by the Borough of Wildwood Crest, known as 6406 Seaview Avenue, and designated as lots 1, 2, and 3 in Block 46.01 on the municipal tax map pursuant to NJSA 40A:12-13A of the Local Lands and Buildings Law, and authorizing advertisement of a notice to bidders.
Motion?
I will second.
It's been moved and seconded that the foregoing resolution be adopted. Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
And Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Motion that all bills properly authorized as submitted be paid.
I'll second it.
It's been moved and seconded that all bills properly authorized as submitted be paid. Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
And Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Thanks, George.
You're welcome.
Okay, under correspondence, so there's three things listed. I actually have one more that I'm going to add. Let's go with, so we had the first one, a request with respect to, from the Halls, look at 6610 Atlantic Avenue. Their letter to the governing body, if I can summarize it. Basically, it seems like last summer they had a well that supplied water to their irrigation and landscaping. At some point, that well system didn't work. They had hired a plumber to get water back, and they tapped into their domestic water, which in turn used up more water than they normally would, and then as a result, they received a excessive sewer bill. So their request is for the borough to consider, I'm assuming, a reimbursement or a credit to their sewer bill for that mistake. My understanding is there may be others that are similar to this that are out there in the borough, but one way or the other, we need to provide respective direction back to Mr. and Mrs. Hall on their formal request. Questions?
Yeah,
Comments?
so I'm looking at this bill at $678, moving to $3,075. Is that basically what we're looking at?
Yeah,
They
the
increased that 2,397.
Correct.
How many other people are in this situation?
I have three that I'm aware of.
They were forwarded by email to you and Don just the other day.
Okay.
So, I don't know if Lindsay would like to jump in, but three that came to my attention that people have similar issues with, and I'm concerned that if the credit was given to this situation, that we would have to issue a credit on the others that haven't written a letter. So that would affect revenue at the end of the year, but, so that would be my concern.
I agree.
Okay, so I'll be the opposition in terms of this, because I think that we are a second home community, and there are probably many people that don't understand that sewer is calculated based on water consumption as opposed to actual sewer that goes into the sewer and out to the MUA. And I get it's been done that way for years, but I guess as we are up here elected representing our taxpayers, I get the financial side and the concern, but I think that there's an issue with the way that we're calculating, we should at least have the ability to make sure that everyone is aware of how it's calculated so that they don't make decisions or can at least ask the right questions when they go to hook up irrigation or anything else. The water from irrigation goes into the ground. It does not go through the sewer. So I think that fundamentally that's an issue that we need to address. So if we're going to say no to the halls and to the others, I still think that that requires owners and taxpayers to understand and know that. So, and that includes any vendors that do business here in the Crest that should also know that and be able to tell their property owners what could potentially could happen. So we're not sitting here trying to figure out what to do. I'm always a believer there's always exceptions to the rule. I believe that the governing body is elected to make those decisions when there is exceptions to the rule. And I think that we should allow for, I'm not saying the whole thing, but at least some level of credit back and make it clear that this is a one-time only and you're gonna get a capped amount based on whatever amount that they were potentially, either at their mistake or erroneously paying for.
So if, and I'm not aware of the people that have paid this bill that haven't written a letter. So if they did write a letter, would they receive the same credit?
I would say the credit would be based, any credit or refund would be based on the potential of the overage of the water that they used. So, there's gotta be some tangible calculation that I'm sure Lindsay or somebody could put together, and the borough could potentially cap it at a certain amount. Like, I just don't think, I think it's just inherently unfair that people are paying for something that didn't go through the sewer based on water when mistakes do happen.
The only problem I have is where does the homeowner become responsible for knowing what's happening? You know, they should be educated on that, I agree. But when you buy a place, you buy a house, you should be aware of all the, I was thinking about putting that system in for my lawn. And, but I had to learn about it. So how would you want to educate them? What do we do?
Yeah, I think, I think right now, the only way that they would know about it is if they actually pulled the ordinance. Somebody, if.
Or they had a mistake in their bill.
Right, so that's what I'm saying, so mistakes are gonna happen. I think generally, we could have all the ordinances that we want, but people don't pick up our code book and put their nose into it. People may not read our website. They're buying a house, they're in love with the shore, they're like Wildwood Crest. We all want colorful flowers at our house, so let me get some water to the flowers, or if there's a break in the line that causes a problem. I think that we have to have the ability to review it, dive into the details, and then make a decision, adjustment after we have all the information.
May I make a recommendation? I may have a potential solution. I believe if you approach the city of Wildwood Water Utility, you can request a second irrigation-specific meter. That's the long-term solution. That doesn't resolve your issue here, but if you could reach out to folks to say your solution, so it's a separate meter, they'll have to pay for the separate meter, but it's rated at a different consumption rate because it's not going back into the sanitary line.
They're only billed from Wildwood, not from us on that line.
Right.
That's
So-
what
I
goes
always
to the
thought they
city.
did that. I thought they put a meter on that once they put another, I thought that was a meter, I guess I was wrong.
Now, so people, listen, whoever's building a house and then selling it or whatever, I think the cheapest option is not to get a second permit. And then, when someone buys the property, they're not asking, who's asking, how's the irrigation getting, how's the water getting to the irrigation system? They just know they have irrigation, so no one asks that question. So I think it's incumbent at least to put information out so that we can, tell them that this is where it's at. And even so, my point, there's still gonna be issues. We are elected to make decisions. I know we have ordinances, but at the same time, we also have to have the ability, when there's exceptions to the rule, whether it be this case or the ones before, or the three that Mr. Franco mentioned, we just have to be able to look at that, and we have good professionals that can weigh in on that, and it can't be always just as black and white as the ordinance. There has to be some level of consideration. I'm not looking to give away the farm, but I think there has to be maybe a capped amount, a one-time potential credit, refund, whatever you want to call it. And then we have to make sure as a municipality that we're getting out all the information to everybody that touches, that touches it, whether it be a developer, whether it be a plumber, whether it be a real estate agent, whoever, so people know this is how, so if you're gonna have colorful flowers and trees and all the other good stuff, you gotta know that you should have a meter separate for that. And if not, you're gonna get charged on your domestic water, and the water's gonna go in the ground, but you're gonna get paid just like if it was sanitary, going out to the MUA.
So how would you like to handle it?
Well,
So I'm concerned about
Yeah.
the people that
I-
that haven't.
On this particular case and any
Yeah,
others,
so-
I think that there needs to be, again, we already reviewed the ordinance on a similar matter previously. I think we need to dive into somewhat between Connie, Lindsay, and Mr. Galzunas. I'm sure they could come up with something. No decision has to be made on this for right now. I think we need to dive into it a little bit and just see if what I'm proposing makes sense. If the answer is no, and they should have known, then the answer is no. But I just think that, I think we can all agree, if it happened to any of us here, or anybody out in the audience or watching, if they had a sewer bill that was based on that, you would say, oh, I didn't know that. And you learn the hard way, unfortunately, but
So I guess
I don't know.
what I'm hearing is this, I'd like to table this and get a little more information to come up, or some other ideas that we can make a really clear decision. Because what I'm afraid of, we're gonna be putting more work on the borough to figure out these calculations and to handle the problems, and I just think we should table it and talk about it at the next meeting.
But that's what I'm proposing, that Lindsay, Connie, and Ron, and maybe Commissioner Frank, if you guys could get together and figure out if there's some sort of one-time exception, or whatever you want to call it, just so if we are in a position to handle mistakes. If I were in Lindsay's shoes or anybody else, and I had to deal with this, I mean, I know we have to do our jobs, but on the other hand, I mean, thinking in the back of my head, I wish we had the ability to have some level of flexibility, because the same people that are paying this, they're paying their mistake is our taxpayers in our community. So, anyway, so I think we just table it for right now, and we'll just let Mr. or Mrs. Hall know that's still being contemplated by the governing body, and then if somebody could get back to them, I'd appreciate it.
That's fine with me, Mayor. I just wanted to make you aware. I think you are aware of these three people or households. There could be more. I don't know.
Joe, what was their amounts? Were they that high too?
Yes. So they range, but they're very. The most was about 5,000. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be coming in here too.
Sure.
What's anybody have the idea of the cost of putting in the irrigation meter from the city of Wildwood, Mark? Do you know?
Isn't it like $3,000? in there?
Mrs. Burns got a quote, she was in last week, and she said the quote she was getting from a private plumber was about $7,000.
Ooh.
Wildwood Water said they gave her some recommendations of someone a little more cost effective, so I don't know, she hasn't been back in.
And that does include the street opening application fees too.
So there's probably the reason why people are trying to tap into they're using the domestic that's already there, but I guess,
So you have a capital cost of maybe, say, $10,000, you have to weigh that, how much more would I save if I had 2 meters as opposed to 1?
right, I think long-term costs, I would think, long-term costs, short-term costs are gonna be high, but the long-term cost, it probably pays for itself and then some.
Depends on how much landscaping you do, right? Or filling your pool, things that don't come into the house that go out through the sewer.
Well, you're taking out of the equation is sewer, so you're paying the same amount in water, having two, just the capital cost of putting the meter in. So you're paying the same amount for water that you would be if you only had 1 meter, but you're taking sewer out of the equation. And sewer, we're not getting charged by the MUA for that water that's going into the system because it's not part of our flow. So, we have that going for us too.
Okay, understood. All right, so could Mr. Franco, Mr. Galzunas, Lindsay, and Connie, you guys have a powwow, and we'll table this until
I'll move to
further.
old business.
Okay, thank you. All right, Mr. Pennypecker on West Preston.
Yeah.
He sent, I just wanted to put this on there because we don't always, as a municipality, get a lot of positive comments on our staff and all the work that we do. So, he wrote that email, I think it was on March 26th, so, I'll read it real quick. So thank you for your email response, Mr. Cabrera. After speaking with a representative from the engineering firm a few months ago, I was concerned we were years away from being considered for a reconstruction project. I hope that the 100 West Preston block is included in the next phase. That is definitely in great disrepair. I must say that we do sincerely appreciate the beautification of the park at Preston and Bayview, the turtle nesting patches, and the multitude of improvements throughout the crest that we have seen in the last couple of years. We truly feel fortunate to have a home in a community that is maintained so well. My interactions with volunteers and employees of the borough have always been pleasant, and any issue I have is resolved. Thank you all for everything. J. Pennypacker from West Preston. So, congratulations to our entire team in the borough of Wildwood Crest for a kind email. All right, so before we moved on to the Love Blue presentation, so the one I just received from Mark's office late yesterday, and if you haven't received it yet, I'll make sure that everybody gets a copy of it, but just basically talks about some issues that we've been having with the sanitary sewer system on Park Boulevard. There was a investigation and inspection done on the Wildwood Linen property. And long and short of it is, Mark's office letter to Steve Shear, copied to me, basically says that when you read it, there are very large items and debris coming from that property into the sanitary sewer system. Towels, tablecloths, obviously the soap and the size of buildup, and it's probably a direct correlation to the $500,000 repair that we're doing on Park Boulevard is directly related to this property. So I'll give everybody a chance to read it, but I think that obviously between Public Works, Code, Zoning, the Construction Office, where everybody's going to have to weigh in here, and this property has to get brought up to speed, so it's not costing the taxpayers the money and the nuisances that it's creating. So read it, and then I'll ask also our solicitor Galzunas to weigh on any legal action that may be needed. All right, Mr. Caruso, Love Blue, you're up.
Get right behind here.
Yes, sir.
Alrighty, so I want to give you guys a little quick update from our past years, where we're at now. We're going into our 5th summer, and that's thanks to all you guys, the Borough of Wildwood Crest. You guys made this possible, made this vision come together. Last summer, we hit 10,000 pounds pulled all together throughout the Wildwood, so huge accomplishment for us, and that's just through our beach cleanups that we do. We have a public cleanup station program that we have in the Wildwood Crest, 3 stations on the beach, and now they've pulled over 5,000 pounds total. I keep and collect all the data. We have a public community platform and database that we keep everything, just so we know our impact and we can, tell other towns how impactful it is to this beach. And the cleanup model has stretched all throughout the East Coast. We're up and down New Jersey, South Carolina, Florida now, and that's from what we started here in Wildwood Crest. And then our cleanup station program is starting to grow as well. We got Cape May, LBI, and more that are starting to join. So it's cool that Wildwood Crest is the staple and the model for all this happening. And then we have 2 more monthly cleanups left, April Earth Day cleanup, and then Memorial Day weekend cleanup. And in June, we start our weekly beach cleanups. We have a nice little team put together, a couple of lifeguards and community members. It's nice they get service hours for school, and it goes towards their internships and stuff like that, so they're able to get credit for that and help our organization. But something that we noticed the past couple of years, especially this past one, we banned the cigarettes off the beaches, and believe it or not, we found a lot more cigarettes on our beaches, all at the bulkheads and right where people are sitting on the beach. And it's just, we learned from our partners, our new partners, TerraCycle, that 70% of people, if they don't see something on the beach that says no smoking or like somewhere to recycle it, they'll just go along their day. But if they do see something, 70% will actually recycle. So we have TerraCycle, our partner, that says that we could use these for our right on top of the beach access points before it gets onto the beach. It'll hopefully stop a lot of people from smoking, and these hold up to 700 cigarettes, so it's not too much to maintain. Our team will take care of it because they do have a give back program, so every pound that we collect and we send it to them, we get $1 back for Love Blue. So it's a nice little incentive for us, and it's a great way to recycle the cigarettes, because believe it or not, cigarettes is one of the most common things that we find at our beach cleanups. So I think this would be a great addition, and it's, like I said, easy to maintain. It's got a little key right here. Everything falls out into the bucket, and then we'll ship it over to them. And we're put into a leaderboard as well, so we're competing with all other towns as well. So this is a new addition that we're trying to get here in the Crest with our TerraCycle receptacles. We can get Love Blue logo on it and Wildwood Crest, and we could put no smoking on here as well. So any custom stickering you guys want, we could do that. But that's it for the cigarette dispenser. Another partner that we got is Helpsy.
To the cigarette dispenser,
Yeah.
you're saying, so on the ramps going down towards the beach, somewhere in there where people...
Yeah,
people
just
can-
thinking right before they get onto the beach.
And the idea would be is because people don't know that they're smoking, is that maybe you see something, in other words, you want to put the cigarette out now, put it in
Exactly.
there. Gotcha.
Yeah,
Okay.
and we do our end. We promote everything on social media, so we're really trying to. We have built a community around our social media, so they'll be informed, they'll know about it, and we'll make sure to have everything on our website as well. But yeah, this is our TerraCycle cigarette receptacle. And then also another partner that we have, Helpsy. They collect a bunch of different types of textiles and put it to different types of uses. So they offered to give us a clothing drop bin. It's just the size of 2 trash cans put together, not too big. They maintain the whole thing, so it's hands off for us. It'll be sponsored by Love Blue, so we'll have our sticker on it and everything. And they also have a give back partnership with us. So I put it out there for the community and see if they would be interested in it. And I got a lot of good feedback. So I think that's something that we could add. And I think a lot of people in the community have plenty of clothes to get rid of, especially at the end of the school year or in the summertime. So I think that's another cool program we can get involved with.
AJ, how often do they pick up those the clothing?
I believe it's like every other week.
Because the problem is, and I like the idea, so don't get me wrong,
Mm-hmm.
but if they're filled, then people just leave them right out there.
Yeah,
And that stuff builds up. I see it over at
I think they get
different areas.
they get a gauge on it, like how often it's filling up.
That would be my one concern.
Yeah, I'll follow up with that.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
It would be safe to say if we were to do the bin, AJ, your firm would make sure that there was no clothes around the bottom of the bin?
Yeah, I'll be the main contact person for
Can I
that.
suggest that maybe you think about putting it at the recycle yard, because at least you have a controlled environment. People can't just dump after hours and really make it a mess if the gate is closed. So people go to the recycle yard, they know to take all the recycles there. That maybe could be part of the program, with Steve's permission, obviously. But that could I'm just gonna add a little bit of angst to them, but they wouldn't be emptying it. They just have to allow the people in to empty it, but it would have a more controlled environment.
Okay.
Good point.
Yeah, that sounds good to me. Cool.
All right.
Yeah, that's all I got though.
All right, AJ. Good.
On the items that you're removing from the beach, I know you and I have talked before about possibly using some of the items to create what I'll call some artwork.
Oh yeah, so this company, TerraCycle, they make all sorts of kind of trash art, 3D sculptures. So they said we could reach out and hop on a call and we'll try to figure out what we want to do. And they said that the Clean Communities grants can be used towards, I think, both of them, this and the trash art sculpture.
Yeah, so I think that there's something pretty cool, I think, about, listen, nobody wants to see litter on our beach, but if the litter on our beach that's being picked up by our nonprofit can create a piece of artwork that maybe for a period of time can be on display in the Arts Pavilion, might be a good thing in it for people to go see.
Definitely.
This artwork made from,
Your trash.
Yeah, they would love it.
yeah.
Yeah, we'll definitely promote that too.
All right, so let's go back because I know the season's here, right? So you need some decisions. So you made a request for a cigarette dispenser, clothing drop-off area, and then maybe I'll come back to on the recycling thing,
Yeah,
recycling
yeah.
part. All right, so what's everybody think, governing body, I guess, on the cigarette dispenser request?
How many do you need? Do you need one on every block, I'm assuming?
Yeah, that's what we're thinking.
So, and you empty them, or? the
Yeah,
public
we'll have a
works?
key and I'll just go around twice a month and empty them in the summer.
AJ, where do you notice the majority of cigarette butts? Are they at the end of the ramp going to the beach, or are they at the beginning?
It's at the beginning of the ramp and
Well,
then,
you just answered the question.
Exactly,
And that would be
yeah.
to put that right at the front of the ramp going down.
that's what I was thinking, yep.
I like the idea.
Cool.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a no-brainer for me.
Cool.
I
Can-
hate cigarette smoke, so.
Can
it's
you
a no-brainer for
could
me.
you coordinate possibly the locations with Mr. Shearer as to where to put them? And I guess the other thing is the artwork that's actually gonna go on that, can you get a draft made so the governing body can approve
Yeah,
what
totally.
that's
Can
gonna
I
look
make a
like?
suggestion?
Sure.
Because we have these beautiful decks and we don't want cigarette burns or people sitting on the benches on the deck smoking, if we could put them prior to them entering the deck area, the street end area where we've made all the improvements, that would be great. And maybe on that, you would put no smoking beyond this point. Smoking prohibited beyond
There you
this
go.
point, to get the point across that you're not allowed to smoke on the deck, nor are you allowed to smoke on the
Good
beach.
idea.
Otherwise, we might have that become a cigarette lounge.
Yeah, true.
I agree.
You know as well as I do, you could put up a
Yeah,
million
that's a
signs.
good idea.
Yeah, no
But I
smoking
really
beyond
like
this
that
point, we
idea.
might be,
Cool.
get the message across.
I like that.
Especially
Everybody go with that?
Plastic wood.
Yeah, it kind of makes sense.
Fires.
All right.
With the,
Mr. Shearer, you're good with that? Okay, all right, clothing recycling area, so Connie's suggestion was down with the public works yard with the rest of the recycling. I would probably say that could you coordinate that location with Mr. Shearer as well?
Yeah, no
And,
problem.
Mr. Shearer's in the back, you haven't met.
Okay.
I have some general concerns about, you say a controlled environment, but we really don't have a controlled environment. The only area where we make collections is gonna be like lean-to. I'm concerned about the container being contaminated with
Trash.
God knows what, and then weather.
Is the container a steel container, or is it like a recycled container?
Pretty sure it's steel,
Like a steel one?
yeah.
If it's a sealed container, then we can discuss it.
Okay.
If you guys figure it out, if not, then come back and then we'll determine, I'm assuming if, right, Joe and Joe, you guys are okay with?
Yeah, I think you have to work with Mr. Shearer.
Okay,
Okay,
perfect.
all right,
Cool.
Thank you,
All
sir.
right, thank you.
nice job, AJ.
You can leave if you want.
All right, well, we'll speak of
Speaking of the
Don
devil,
Long. Yeah, how are you?
good, thank you, and yourself?
Good. All right, so we're actually on number 10 under new business. We have the Patriotic Parade. I met with Mrs. Long from Morning Glory Road last week about her idea for the borough to consider hosting a Patriotic Parade, which in essence starts on Cressy Avenue on Ocean and proceeds south to Rambler, makes a right-hand turn towards Sunset Lake, and then finishes up at Turtle Gut Park, also known as Alamino Park. Basically, I think I summarized it in my internal note, be the borough vehicles, primarily some former and previous elected officials and some businesses and anybody that wants to participate, and then everybody would then go to Centennial Park, which Recreation already has a band scheduled for that night to finish up. And I think you had suggested maybe some food trucks
Right.
and
then
entertainers
just-
as well.
Then we would have the fireworks, the red, white, and
Oh.
blue, everything would be
Don, I'm sorry.
red, white, and blue.
Can you come up to the,
patriotic.
can you come up to
Oh,
the
okay,
podium?
yes,
Yeah,
sorry.
there's a,
All right, hello.
sorry.
Do I have to introduce myself?
Just you don't need your,
I'm Donna Long Osborne, and my family has been here for many, many years. And the reason why I thought about this was my grandparents have immigrated from Italy back in 1920, and the values that I have, they instilled in my mom, and I just figured that it would be an honor to do something like this, because I think our country is in a very difficult place as we speak. And I think that having the tourism and the city will be filled, that we need to come together as a community to unite and to share that, you know, we have values here in this community. And one of the things that I had thought about was, you know, like turtle gut. I grew up here, I went to school here, I never learned about turtle gut until just about a couple months ago. So I thought that having the parade that day, everything would be red, white, and blue. The music that the bagpipes and the string band, I haven't talked to them yet, but I would like for everything to be patriotic. All the musics that we grew up to. And I just think that it would show people that our community is united and that we have values here and that we honor the legacy of the United States of America. Don had come up where we would start the parade with a banner and it would say, "We the people." And from there, then I would have Crest Memorial, they have a band or they have a music department. I would have those children participate in the parade with their little band. And then special services, they have a bell choir. They could, you know, come be a part of the parade. And what else? I was thinking the Philly Fanatic. I was thinking, like, with the businesses, like Don said, like the Saris, each bike stand, they could put a Sari in the parade and they would have their business, you know, identified on the side of the bikes. And other community members that have business that want to participate. I talked to Algae Bikes, they were in South Jersey Gas. They were in, no, South Jersey Glass, yes, they were. They said that they would participate. There are a lot of people. They're very, what I've gotten so far is very positive. And I just think it would be great. And I don't think it would cost the borough that much. I don't think it would really cost you anything because I've done parades before and for free. And so like the Dare car, McGruff, the police, the fire trucks, I mean, it would be great. And then I would go around to the motels, and if the motels wanted to participate, they could decorate their motels in red, white, and blue. And I just think it's a win-win. And I just think we would showcase our island and what we have here and what we stand for. So,
And just to provide some clarity, so I just think, so Donna has volunteered to
Yes,
be the
coordinate,
point person to help us pull it all together, working with our various department heads. But it would not be what I'll call it the Donna Long organizing. It really would be the borough with her
Right,
volunteering her
right,
time to the
exactly.
borough to put on.
there's
this.
no I in team.
Yeah, to put on the event.
So I have a couple of questions for you,
Yes.
Donna. Good to see you again, too.
Yes.
It's been a while.
No, it wasn't. I saw you at Ship and Shore.
Oh, there you are. I was trying to keep
You
that
did.
like a secret, but that's all right, the cat's out. When I say
That's a
while, I
secret?
meant...
What's a secret?
Nah, no secrets. Anyhow, one... Took me right off the bat there.
That's right. That's it.
The date. I don't see a date for this. When were you thinking about?
July 4th,
July 4th.
the Thursday. We would start off Thursday between 4 and 5. We would line everybody up by the arch, and then we would go from there.
So, not to change anything at all, but what do you think? Because July 4th, I mean, we're busy as anything.
Well, that's
for
why
two,
because it's in.
but How about like September 11th?
No.
You don't want to do it
No,
then?
no, mm-mm. It's July 4th. It's July 4th. It's a holiday.
Just throwing it
We're
out
going to
there.
be packed, and you're going to have the police there. I have people that I've talked to that will also come and be positioned on every corner. That in the event that there was an issue, that they would back the police or whatever. So, I just think it would be great.
I think it's a nice idea.
I think
really
it's
do.
wonderful. I think it's
Are
beautiful.
we
I mean, look,
inviting
you have
other
the Crest
communities
Pier there, you put bleachers up there, you go to Centennial Park, that would be mobbed. The bay, I just think, yes, no.
Okay.
What?
No, we're good. I just had
That's all?
clarity.
No more questions?
No, I think it's a great idea.
And then you guys would be in a car. I talked to Kindle. Kindle will give us cars so you guys can ride in. I was even thinking like the, what the heck is it when you have a parade? Who was, the Grand Marshal. I was talking to Frank Vogel. I thought it would be nice for him. He gives back to the community. He goes to Wildwood High and talk. He would be one. You guys could be the other. You know, and anybody that you want. I mean, it's not just me, it's your input as well as the community. Anybody who has any suggestions, I just think it's a win-win. Just to showcase who we are, and I think as the years come, it would only get bigger and better. And I thought that I'd have, after I talked to Dave Delcani, I was thinking about having a 6th, 7th, and 8th grader down at Turtle Gut, and they could give the history, because that'll be packed along there, and people could go and listen to exactly, you know, that's history, that's who we are, that's why we're here. So, and I just think it's a wonderful thing, and I think my grandparents who did immigrate here, you know, they helped build the my grandparents built the railway, and, you know, they ended their life here on Cressy Avenue. You know, there was an automobile accident that my grandparents, both of them were killed by a police officer from Wildwood Crest. And not many people know that. And so I just think it's a testament to them and where I'm at today.
So I think.
Any other questions?
So from the municipality standpoint, so as far as like public works and recreation, I think because I'm setting up some trash cans and so forth involved. Brian and I spoke briefly yesterday.
Toilets.
Toilets. Getting some entertainers, jugglers, band, whatever we need. We
Yeah,
can
like stilt walkers, like
Yeah.
Hearsay from Atlantic City. There's a couple stilt walkers that we could get in the parade. I think that, you know, we don't want to make it that long. We could make it for the weekend if we like, but I don't think, you know, I think, what
Yeah.
can we say, about an
The
hour
big-
and a half?
Yeah, the biggest.
Because what is it, 2 miles?
Yes, that's correct.
Right.
Not even
No.
2 miles.
Right, so, you know, yeah.
Yeah. So the only thing as we discussed, that I could see would be the route itself and the intersections, and so that's up to the chief and Commissioner Schiff to figure
Okay.
out how they would handle that, or if they can handle it, or whatever.
They can't handle that?
I don't know.
He can handle that. It'll be cool. It'll be wonderful.
We can talk about it for sure.
Okay, all right.
Thank you.
So, I don't know. Any other questions?
Just, and I don't think it's for you, Donna, it's probably for just internally, the insurance purposes. I'd hate to be the one to bring that up. I don't know if we ever had a parade here.
No, you didn't.
No,
You
so
haven't.
we would have to do some sort of like a waiver. We'd have people that participate sign a waiver.
Yeah, that, you're right, exactly.
Other towns that sign, and when we go to other parades.
They
we're-
sign you.
Yeah, we have to sign a waiver to participate. We'd use something very, very similar to that and make sure, if it's a larger organization like a string band, most times we would ask them for their insurance and name us as additional insured, things like that. We can work with Casey Byrne, our risk manager, and spell everything out and work with
Great.
you.
Your
That'll
name
work.
is Constance?
Connie. You can
Oh,
call me
Connie, okay. I don't know
Constance.
you. I mean, the last name I know.
You didn't see her at the ship?
I didn't see, no, I saw, who was it? I'm trying to think who.
It's okay.
Okay.
Good.
Okay, so I guess we would say, what's today? Today's April the 8th, 9th?
Eighth,
Right.
ninth.
8th? I'm losing track of days. 9th. So we don't have a lot of time, but that would be, so there's 3 months. So I guess, Don, in your idea, in your mind,
Yeah.
when do you need the borough to, as far as the details are concerned?
I think the sooner the better.
Okay.
But can I ask you one other thing? I would like to know if there is somebody in-house, and I don't want to put anything on anybody, because I know everybody is busy, in terms of if I were to write like information about it that I can pass out to the community, to the motels, and to the restaurant, you know, just to give them that information about what may transpire. I just would need somebody, I don't have a computer, my computer is like from dial-up, so.
Better off.
Yeah. So here's what I think we should do. I know that from our standpoint, from recreation to PW standpoint, we could make it happen. And really, the
Okay.
biggest issue, as I mentioned to you, would be on the route itself. So I think that Commissioner Schiff and Chief Lloyd have to dive into those details and see what they can do. As soon as we hear from them, then maybe there'll be a follow-up meeting with you, and then we'll get the various department heads together to figure out how
Sure.
we can pull this
Sure,
off.
whatever.
To answer your question, as far as anything that promotes the event and so forth, Mr. Kniff in the back on the audio, he's our public information officer to
Okay,
get all
good.
the
Good,
information
good.
out and so forth.
But I don't, in terms of publicity, I think that you have the motels that are gonna be packed. And I think that in itself is just, the word of mouth is gonna get out, so, it depends on what you as a borough wanna do.
Right.
That's it, I think it's great, but thank you for this opportunity, I appreciate your time, and I look forward to a favorable outcome, and something that can continue for many, many years to come.
Some of the best meetings are held at the ship.
Excuse me?
Some of the best meetings are held at the ship and shore.
That's right, that's where we have to go. Thank you. Thank you.
All right. How fast do you think you guys could weigh in on that?
Well, we're just hearing about it right now, so Chief and I will sit down. We're probably gonna have to figure out to accomplish it, the route for us and have full control over that decision. My only suggestion would be, since it's the first one, I think we kind of tamp this a little bit smaller to make it work well and then build each year. If you can do that. I don't know if that's coming across the right way, but I think you can build on it. I think it's a good idea, but I think we should start on a smaller end to see how this whole thing goes. And I know what the chief's gonna say right off the bat. He's gonna say, 4th of July weekend, we are jammed, and our police department
Today's
is
July 4th.
overwhelmed.
What day is July 4th this year?
And I think I can bring back.
Didn't she say
I think I
Thursday?
can bring
Thursday.
FEMA here.
It doesn't work that way. Chief can
No.
explain it. Well, let us talk about it first.
Okay.
Okay. All right, moving on to old business. 20-minute parking sign. Oh, by the way, did everybody, nobody's parked out there yet, because this meeting's longer than 20 minutes. 20-minute parking? Did we do anything more on that? Keeping it?
It's keeping it. In fact, I'd like to take that off.
I
So-
would prefer to keep it just for now, so I haven't really been able to dive into that yet, but so I would prefer to keep it on there for right now.
Okay, so on that follow-up, so I did meet with Mark's engineer, Jake, and he is working on a plan for parking across the street and potentially parking just where everybody parks here along Pacific Avenue from basically the block of Borough Hall. I know there's been complaints from the neighbors just across the street and just one block south about employees parking in front of their house. So I think that if we can designate employee parking in that lot and maybe isolate it right here to this side of Borough Hall and maybe just in front of the police department, I think that may help solve where employees should park and so forth. But I'll wait for Mark's office to finish designing it and then circulate it around for everybody for comment and discussion or place it on the agenda for the next meeting.
Well, the chief sent a drawing over. Is that the one you're looking at?
No, that
Or
was,
is this?
yeah, so I reviewed, if I may, so
Go ahead.
I reviewed that, I did exchange emails with chief on that, but I did review that with the engineer. So if we did diagonal parking, the concern is that to give enough people space, we would have to remove parts of the sidewalk, possibly the telephone pole, because the clearing area on that northbound lane, there's not enough room. So you're talking about moving Atlantic City Electric poles and tearing up the concrete. There's not enough room on this side. We just looked at this side specifically. So he said, and I asked point blank, is it better off just to leave them parallel with the curb? He said, absolutely. So that's why we're at there. And then Chief, to his credit, he said that it wasn't drawn to scale. But there's not enough room there. But he did review the concept. All right, lot at Rosemary Seaview. I believe we just authorized notice to bidder, so we're looking to potentially have that information out at
It'll get published next week.
next week, and then
And
have
then you
them.
can decide where else you want it to go.
And they will have until June to
The
submit their
bid
bids.
opening's June 12th,
June 12th. Got it.
10:30.
Got it. All right, concession agreement, hotel zone and beach chairs is on hold. Traffic calming on hold. Back beach excavations on hold. Anything on dredging?
No, I will be meeting with Scott Douglas in the beginning part of May, like the first week in May. And as it is right now, we're still on target for next year. Still in permitting. DEP does have it right now, the plan for permitting. And the acquisition is in the hands of the state's right-of-way department still.
Got it. Public Works roof, we just introduced the funding today, so that'll be available for construction. Just on the kind of on that note, the pool flat roofs, which holds the mechanicals, and the crest pier roof, which holds the mechanicals, are under construction now. So if you get any comments or anybody asking questions, projected completion dates for both of those projects is May the 20th.
And Mayor, we do have a meeting tomorrow with the New Jersey Avenue, with the county for the infrastructure issues and things like that. Mark and I will be meeting with Bob Church, the county engineer, tomorrow.
Got it. All right, baseline outfalls and capacity, bulkheads, all that good stuff. Also in the bond ordinance that we introduced, Mark, we're still tracking, we're gonna be out to bid on that, or any more word on the FEMA grant for the pump stations? Nothing?
No, but Tammy Wenzel has been working on getting all the information necessary for the congressional funding, and that is complete now. We did the resolution, we signed all the necessary paperwork. She's assembling that package, and that'll go in within the next few days.
Got it, okay. Outfall lines, we're still waiting on it from FEMA, from Jim Rotello on that. All right, last round of public comments. We'll start with anybody here in the audience. Public comments, anybody?
I do. Do I have to stand up?
You do?
Okay, this, you were talking about parking. I know that we have many condominiums now, and I don't know when whoever purchased the condominium, if there are assigned spots, other than like their driveway. My thought was, I don't know how many parking spaces that we have in Wildwood Crest on the street. And because I know that just with the condominiums that some of them bring like 8-10 cars. And, my thought was if they purchase a condominium, they would get 2 parking places, their driveway, and then maybe 1 off-street. But somehow, some way, you could put a price tag on the street. Like if they had 10 cars and you gave them 2, then if they wanted to bring 3, 4, 5 cars, they would have to come to the municipality and purchase a whatever to park on the street if they wanted, because there's a lot of cars in the summertime. And, having 2, 3 condominiums around your house, I don't know if that was ever explored. So I just thought that it may be a way to make money for the borough, and also to curtail on all the cars that people bring down. And so they would, what's the word? They would carpool. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So, that's all.
Got it?
Okay,
Thank you.
So somebody will let me know.
Yes. Okay. Any other public comments? Anybody in the conference line have public comments? All right. Commissioner comments? Anything?
Got Little League Saturday, Bri, 11 o'clock, opening day.
All right.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say thank you to the residents for their patience. It's a lot of work being done throughout the borough, so there's, for me personally, driving around, it's a zigzagging everywhere, so I wanted to say just thank you for your patience. But the end result, in my opinion, is gonna look great, so thank you.
Beautiful.
Yep. And just to follow up, so if anybody has a chance, so the Crest Arts Pavilion exterior grounds project, it's going on right now. I can tell you that project, when it's done, is going to be beautiful. That's very well landscaped with the tiered, the amenities that it offers, nice. The shade structure is installed. We're waiting for the concrete to be poured underneath the shade structure by the new pickleball courts. The tennis courts that are adjacent or the closest to the county library is in the process of getting recoded. 1 court will be multi-purpose for pickleball and tennis. The other 2 will remain just tennis. I already mentioned about the public works, and the pool roof is under construction. And as we speak, Park Boulevard emergency repair is going on. The repair to Wisteria Road is going on, and Orchid Road is under construction. So that kind of summarizes all the construction projects that are going. Oh, and the beach bump outs from Primrose up to Morning Glory are all under construction as well. So that project now, it seems like we've got some good weather. Our contractors are getting caught up, and it'll be a great summer. All right, that's all I have for the good of the order. I'll make a
Very good.
motion to adjourn.
Motion.
I was second, Trish.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.